Hi. See, I was ready.
Hey, we're on just a little bit early today.
Somebody got ants in their pants.
So we appreciate you guys being here. And why is my mic not on?
Oh, okay.
I know you guys can probably hear me, maybe, hopefully. Let's see. Mikey Mike. Okay, yeah, you got it. Yep, you can hear me.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, so welcome to another edition of Purposeful Forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Yes, indeed. I'm so excited to be here.
I say this the wrong time.
Yay! So I appreciate you guys rocking and hanging with us and being a part. Yeah, today. Oh, now you're hot. Today we're talking about defining love.
Yes, and he's gonna run our intro and then turn off.
The heat? I just do it right now. All right. Uno momento. Por favor. We're gonna go ahead and get started. Scrolling down. And where we at? There we go. Right there. That's it.
Me and you together, our purpose for forever. Won't let nothing ever tear us apart. Me and you together, our purpose for forever. Won't let nothing ever tear us apart. Me and you together, our purpose for.
Hi. And we're back. Hey, Keita.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening.
I hope that you guys can hear us.
Yeah, you should be able to hear us. I think. You were told you couldn't hear us, right? Of course you would. So yeah, we appreciate.
See, this is what happens when you try to go on ahead of your normally scheduled time. But anyway, guys, tonight we are going to talk about love.
Love.
What?
Oh,
and the many different definitions that's out there. So we came up with this topic. Well, I talked to someone and they were talking about the interesting parts of, Keita hears, dating and some of the different encounters that they had. So I figured the perfect conversation would be where it all starts.
Love.
Well, how you do it? I don't know. But y'all get the point.
Right.
So I'm going to start off. We even looked up some real definitions. We're going to see what's in some of these books. So in the regular Webster's, it says love is an intense feeling of deep affection, a great interest and pleasure in something. To feel deep affection for someone. And it says to like or enjoy very much. Listen, if this is all love, it's no wonder people are having such a hard time because them descriptions does not really cover enough for till death do you part.
Right.
Not in this book. Yeah. Okay, so I also looked up love in the Quran. And it says, true love is a part of God's love. Mm-hmm. And it is our duty to love one another truly, as indeed he loves us. Without divine love,
right. Set up for failure.
Right. Without divine love, there can be no human love.
Right.
The Quran tells us that the path of true love has to be through God. The Quran might be on to something.
Right. And so I looked up love, what the Buddhists say about love. Love is a genuine concern for another person's well-being. That's it.
That's all there is.
That's it. That's all there is.
And then, of course, we looked it up in the thing that keeps us grounded, what we believe.
Right.
So we went to the Bible and we looked up love, and he's just gonna read.
Which one you want me to
Start
do?
with it.
Okay, so it said love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous or boastful or pride or rude. It does not demand its own way. It's not irritable, and it keeps no record of being wrong. So love.
You're done?
Yeah, I'm done. Oh, love never gives up. Love never gives up. No, love never loses faith. Is always hopeful and endures through every circumstance.
Right.
Endures through every circumstance.
Now, for me,
It's
when you
good.
listen to the different
good.
definitions, the Bible, for me, again, seems like it's the closest description of something that you're going to base till death do you part on. You know, we talk, of course, and we were talking about, you know, do you really love your spouse, or how do you love them? Do you love them with that type of love that was in the Webster's, you know, to enjoy or like a lot? Do you love them like that? So, you know, on the days that you feel like I don't like you, on the days that he didn't do something he was supposed to, or he did something and he wasn't supposed to, and you're angry. Do you still love on those days? You know, are those the days that he better eat somewhere else because you're not going to cook? Are those the days that you're going to wash all the clothes except for his? Mm-hmm. Like, you know, are you petty Patty where, you know, you're going to get him back for something he did? Because that's not
love.
What he said. That's not love.
Right.
You know, I hear people say, well, oh, I'm petty. Like the book says, love keeps no record of wrongdoing.
Right.
How many people can actually say that you love somebody? It could be familiar love. Right. It could be family friendly love. And that was another thing. There's 4 mm-hmm. different types of love. 4. So let me pull it up again.
So as we're talking about love, you know, what does it mean to you? What does love mean?
She said that's childish.
You know, how do you, and you said, like the Bible says, you know, it's not keeping score of wrongs. You know, how do you love in a manner that is not the reciprocal, but how do you love just in the sense where you're not keeping score of what they do wrong, you know, where you're able to overcome, like I said, any circumstance? How do you love like that? And, you know, there's always going into the forgiveness phase, but how do you continuously be able to love without it being a hindrance or hindering yourself because you're not loving someone? Go ahead.
All right. And so the 4 types of love is eros, mm-hmm. and that's that erotic, passionate kind of love. That's the love, you know, biblically speaking, of course, that you're supposed to share with the one person you're going to spend the rest of your life with. Right. And I said biblically speaking. So this is the love that a husband and wife should share. Right. Philia is the love of friends and equals. Mm. So this is the kind of love, you know, you should have for your bestie. Like I've seen married women say like, oh, my best friend was here before my husband. Right. You know, like that's my girl. She always going to be my friend. Right. Philia is a different type of love. You know, it doesn't say that any of these are more intense than the other, or any of these should take place or, you know, take precedence over the other. And then there's storge. That's the love of parents for children. And you know, when it comes to our children, we can get real serious about our babies. Right. And then there is the agape love. That's the love of mankind. Agape love is supposed to be more like the unconditional kind of love. It's the kind of love that you're supposed to have, you know, for those of us that go to church. Right. You know, you're supposed to have for the people you go to church with, and supposed to have for your friends. Right. Agape love is not a love that requires real intimacy. Right. It's just a love for mankind. Like you see somebody hurting, you see somebody in need,
Right.
you know, there's supposed to be a feeling that you have to want to help or, you know, comfort or whatever. Agape falls under that.
Right. Yes. So love in the form that she was talking about, I think that agape love is a big one because,
Right.
you know, it's being able to love somebody, you know, in spite of. It's being able to love somebody
Just because.
It's being able to just be there for them, you know, be there for your brother, be there for your sister, and being able to express. I think we've lost a lot of that agape love. Just to help a brother or be there, you know, to be compassionate, to be understanding. I think we've gotten so focused on ourselves that we've lost that kind of love. So, you know, like I said, you know, we always talk about relationships and building a village and coming together, but that agape love is the thing that seals that.
Right. That's the glue that holds it together. Because it's impossible for me to have a connection to another woman or to a group of women,
right.
and then those women can care less about anybody else outside the group. You can't build a connection there. Right. So that agape love, people have to have that. Right. I think that's where our communities are so fractured and disjointed, because we don't have a love for mankind or love for our neighbors anymore. Right. We love those people that we can touch and are connected to. Right. That is where our love lies. And to be honest, you know, well, I guess your friends and stuff, that would kind of fall under the philia kind of love. But, you know, we don't love outsiders. We don't love like random people. And again, agape love does not require any intimacy. Right. So no, I don't have to love you. I don't have to know you. Right. I love you because, you know, you're a creation of God. I love you because you know, you're a woman just like me. I think before you can even, you know, talk about being married and building a family and leaving a legacy and starting a community, you have to have some sort of agape love for people. Right. You've seen people where you've seen couples where like the husband is really nice and friendly and whatever, and then the wife is like, ugh. And you be wondering like, how are they married? Right. Like that poor man, you know, like that's what people walk away thinking. I know, because I've seen people say that about me before. Like that poor man, you know, because she looked like she doesn't love anything. Right. So I think agape love is really, really important. Right. And I believe agape love also allows you to love yourself. Yes. Like we've gotten away from that too. Like not only do we not love people outside of our house, like, you know, things have happened and we've encountered so much that like on the low, we don't really love ourselves. Like, and we don't slow down long enough to realize that. We don't slow down long enough to really feel that and adjust that. A lot of time we just jump from one thing to the next, and the next, and the next, and it's about the job, and it's about the kids, and about the money, and about this, and I'm going to school, and I'm, you know, and we don't really realize like what we feel for ourselves, you know, is really subpar. Right. So I think, you know, agape love, that's where it starts. Right. Because once you have that agape love, that gives you something to build on. Yeah. Because from there, then you move to the philia, where you can have friends and build a community and all of that. And then, you know, of course, you meet somebody and that philia turns into marriage and then eros. See how I did that?
So silly.
You know, and then you have that passionate, intimate kind of love that then generates little mini me's. And that's the story.
Yeah, I think having that, I think the agape is just, and being able to being able to love your community unconditionally, right? Looking out for them. And we talk about that constantly. But they may not get into that friend space. You know, there's all kinds of reasons. We may not connect like that. We don't like the same things. We don't vibe like that. But doesn't mean I can't look out for you.
Right.
Doesn't mean I can't love you like like you, my brother. We just connect differently. We don't have to hang out, but if you need, or if you in a space where you got questions or whatever, I should make myself available at least to help you through these positions in life. But like I said, we don't even have to be friends because of just our likes and dislikes. Like you like certain things, I don't like, so we're not going to connect all the time, but we have a goal of building a community. So we work together because out of love. And I think if our community gets more focused on just trying to help each other in a loving fashion, even telling us the tough stuff, because that's where love is as well.
Honesty.
That honest, that honest love.
Right.
I love you. This is why I'm telling you this. I see how your life is. This is why I'm telling you this. If we can open ourselves up, and then that's the two-sided coin of it. Not only being able to give, but you being able to receive
those, right? That same
receive that love.
Correction and criticism,
right?
And
help, because some people block themselves. Well, go ahead. Oh, but receiving that love, because sometimes we try to just do everything on our own, where we should open ourselves up to the community, because more can do better than just one. So we have to be able to open ourselves up to receive the love, and being able to accept what folks is given, in a sense where they're trying to at least tell you in love. And I get sometimes people don't know how to express their love in a way that may not always be the most inviting, but you at least thank them for it. But don't close yourself off. I think that's the main point I want to make, is not to close yourself off to the love of the community. Just always being open, having the conversation, and receiving correction when it's needed or necessary.
Right. And I feel like, when you get married, I feel like at one point or another, you have to be able to exercise all 4 of those different kinds of love.
Right.
Sometimes your husband doesn't need you to, I'll say for me, sometimes he doesn't need me to fix it. He doesn't need me to do whatever. Right. Sometimes he just needs me to be his friend.
Right.
There's been times we've had conversations. I'm like, okay, I need Anthony, my friend. Not Anthony, my husband.
Right.
I need Anthony, my friend. And I know that sounds weird, but sometimes, I need him to be more of my friend. What does that mean? I need him just to hear me out. Right. I need him to try to be unbiased and swoop in and fix it because he's my husband.
Right.
So there's times that all of those loves are going to come into play.
Right.
Like there's a specific type of love that a parent is supposed to have for their child.
Right.
What does that mean? That means your child is not your world.
Right.
I love my kids, and it took me 10 years before I had the first one.
Right.
So I love my kids. They, more times than not, when you see me, you see them.
Right.
Because they are mine and I love them. But there are also times, in different things that I love them differently from my husband. They have a place in my life. They have a place in my heart. They don't rule my life. They don't overrule everything. And I know sometimes it gets hard, especially if you're a single mom. And I'm doing single like that because there are varying definitions of what a single mother is. So whatever your definition is, sweetheart, please trust that I am not trying to pass it off like it's unimportant.
Right.
But when you're a single mom, sometimes, your kids become your world.
Right.
You take all those loves, the different kinds, and we put them into our children. And there's certain places that our children don't belong.
Right.
When your child is older and an adult and you choose to become friends with them, that's great. Right. But when they're children, it's a little out of order. Mm-hmm. But there are times, where you have to separate. You have to have being a mom over here. Right. And then I'm a wife over here. And of course, because you got to flip-flop,
right.
You have to be able to maneuver. Sometimes he doesn't need me to be AJ's mom.
Right.
You know, he
Right.
don't want to see Alexa's mom. He
Right.
wants Sam. He
Right.
wants his wife. He
Right.
needs me to be his wife. Sometimes he needs me to be his friend.
Right.
And it's important to understand how to love him.
Right.
You know, it's important to know what love is.
Yeah.
Not just my definition, but to know what his definition of love is as well. Because what I think, love is, or how I receive it, is going to be very different
Right.
than what he thinks.
Right.
So I can't just love him how I want to be loved. I tried that, by the way. I did try that for a very long time.
Right.
And it took a long time for me to understand why that was not working.
Right.
Because I didn't ask him how or when he feels my love or when he feels loved by me. I just said, I'm going to do what I like done.
Right.
And he should like that.
Right.
No big, it's no big question why that did not work.
Right.
It's important to learn your spouse, so you can love them properly. And what does love them properly mean? Love them in a way that they can feel.
Definitely.
It does not matter if I keep buying him cologne. I could buy him 500 bottles.
Right.
If he don't like cologne, does it matter?
Right.
And he's like, I bought you a $500 bottle, but I don't like it.
Yeah, that's not my thing.
Right. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't resonate as love to him.
Right.
It doesn't feel like love.
Right.
We have to stop. So let's slow down. I mean, COVID slowed us down. Things are opening back up. Don't just fly out the house.
Right.
Don't just fly back in to your routine. What did you learn about your relationship? Did you learn anything?
Right.
Did you go into COVID and come out of COVID the same way?
Right.
Being married.
Right.
Let's just talk to married people.
Right.
You was married. Did your relationship get better or worse during COVID?
Right.
And that's a real question. That's a question that you should ask yourself. And if there was no change whatsoever, that's something you should look at too.
Definitely. You should it's definitely important that you know how to love your spouse. They always talk about the love language, knowing, how affirmations, gifts, and then what kind of gifts. Like my wife's not a flower person. Like flowers is not, so flowers is not a thing. She could receive it as a gesture, like I was here, I was thinking about you, but it's not like a big thing for her. There's certain things that she likes. And it's important that we know these things. It's important that even when it comes to foods, like, this make her smile. Like this particular meal, this is what she likes. So it's understanding exactly what your spouse needs to feel love. Because, like she said, if I give her what I want, she probably ain't gonna be happy because that's what I like. That's what I like, but it's not what she likes. So it's having that understanding, paying attention, and even in your friends, understanding things that they like, how they like to be addressed, or things that they love, and what makes them feel appreciated. And like she spoke about the listening, like we don't have to have all the answers. Sometimes just a listening ear, just to be there, is what people want. They don't, and sometimes folks don't talk because I don't need answers. I just need to get it out.
Right.
I know what I did wrong. I know what's messed up. I already know. I know this, I done jack some stuff up. I just need to vent. I just need to say it out loud and let it be done. And we need to be there. That's that level of love that we need to show. We need to all get into a space where we're showing more love than being disgruntled towards others.
Right.
Or some folks you ever just talk, they always most of their speech is drama. Like some mess is always going on. Either they're talking about their own or they're talking about somebody else's. And it's like, is this where we at? Is this the only bitter conversation we're having? So we need to change a lot of that conversation. If you're around that a lot, either don't talk to them as much. Because I'm not trying to cut folk off, but sometimes you got to slow down some conversations. Like all you're hearing is negative, it affects you. So if you get around folks that, hey man, I did this was great, and we had this conversation, I love that she said, and we did, you want to be around more positive stuff, and you want to show more love and appreciation. And I think it'll it'll make life easier. It betters our community when love becomes the center. You know, I know Jesus is the center, but love is what he asked us to do. So when love becomes the center of what we do, I think it begins to change the environment.
Right. And for everybody, you know, there's people on here or that may see this that's already married. There's people that's trying to get married. Figure out how to place those loves in the right place. Sometimes, you know, you meet somebody and maybe that person only deserves agape love. Right. You know, like, I want the best for you. I want you to succeed, you know, whatever, but you're not for me. Right. And that's okay. Right. It's okay to say, you're not what I want. Right. It's okay, you know, to say, this is not right for us. Right. You know, stop meeting people and already you about to give, you know, you ready to jump the arrows. Right. You ready to get all hot, heavy, and passionate, and you can't figure out, you know, why it don't work. Right. Why in 2 weeks you right back, right, you know, where you started. Figure out how to place, you know, give people the right reactions. Put them in the right space. Maybe you're just a friend. Right. You know, maybe you could be a good friend. Maybe we can hang. Maybe we can enjoy each other's company. Right. Like, let's not force things. Right. You know, you can't force a relationship. You can't force somebody to love you. Like, sometimes it's just not right. And it's okay. It's okay for it not to be right. Right. Like, don't allow yourself to get into a space where you're like desperate. Right. And what does that mean? That means you're just willing to take, you know, the first person that's like, hey there, you're like, hey. Right. And then you wonder, you know, why you get home and there's a monkey in a box. Right. Like, right, you know, let's take some time. Love takes time. Yeah. You know, that real kind of substantial love, that takes time. Like, it should take time. Right. You know, before you get, you know, to that eros, that passionate, that all transparent kind of love. Right. Because passion is not always, it's physical. Yeah, there's a physical aspect to eros, but passion is, you know, there's a little more to it than that. Like, yes, you know, we share eros or whatever, but at the same time, like, he's passionate about wanting me to be my best self. Right. He's passionate about wanting me to succeed. So it's a much more than just physical. Right. You know, let's not trifle, you know, oh, I love you. Let's go hop into bed. Right. You know, we throw around the word love so much. Right. I mean, even the worst definition said a strong affection for, like, a strong, like, you know, affection. When you add strong to it, that means it's a little more than surface. Yes. Take time to get to know people. Like, there are things that I love about people, you know, that makes me or helps me to love them. Right. You know, it's not just whatever. And it's not just about getting stuff from somebody. Like, it's not about what you can do for me. Like, you know, it said love isn't selfish. Love isn't proud. Like, I'm not too proud to ask you for help. Right. Like, you know, I'm not so selfish that all I want is your help. Right. Like, I think if we really took some time to read some of these definitions, it doesn't matter what you believe. That's why we read something. I read something out of the Quran. He read something from the Buddhists. Yeah. You know, out of the Bible, and then just out of the regular dictionary. Your belief really doesn't matter. Right. You know, take some time, really think about what love is, and if you really want to share it with someone else, because that's what you're saying. When you tell somebody, I love you, that's saying, I want to share a part of me with you. Right. In one way or another. And I'm not talking about physical. Right. I'm talking about, I want to share a part of who I am with you. Right. And that's the key right there, being willing to share. And like, if we talk about the furthest of it, like the agape, you know, that doesn't mean I'm maybe sharing something super intimate, but I'm willing to share my time, with you. Just share my knowledge. Right. If I really love you, at least to share something with you that'll help further you, or even just to bring comfort. You know, I think we just get in our mindset to
to really try to love one another. And I know, like, if the reaching out is not your thing, it's kind of like you got to work on it. you gotta be willing to sometimes get in that uncomfortable space just to be willing to love others. You never know of what new friend you might find if you just begin to connect with others, begin to show love for others. I've been able to connect with some great people just getting out of my own box, getting out of my own way, just begin to love others, in more of a I like this. Unconditional is such a such a word, but just like more or less, just be able to love, from a genuine space. Being able to really connect with others. What you about to say?
I think unconditional seems like such a big word because we kind of lump that in with perfection.
Right. I think so.
Like
right.
It has to be perfect.
Right.
Like there's nothing about us as human beings that is ever going to be perfect.
True.
So like unconditional just means, for me, I mean, I'm not looking at the dictionary, but when I'm talking about loving somebody unconditional, that means I'm not gonna give up trying.
Right.
I may mess up, I may fall, I may do it all wrong for a long time, but I'm gonna keep trying to get it right. Like I feel like that's where unconditional love comes in. Like where you're just gonna keep trying. Right. Listen, I'm not perfect. It's not perfect, but I'm going to keep trying. Right. To me, that's where the unconditional comes in. When you're willing to keep trying, and that could be in friendships. A lot of times, it's with your children. Like the older they get, the relationship changes. Yeah. It shifts. Now, they're your kids, but they like adults that live somewhere else. Right. So you have to learn how to love them differently.
Right.
And that's with all relationships. Over time, relationships should change and evolve as we change and evolve as people. I often look at our communities and I'm like, did we ever love each other? But I think back to the 60s, those people that were willing to go up against the cops and, to send their kids to white neighborhoods. Yeah, it may have been about their kids, but they were thinking long term. Right. They wanted the generations of us that came after them to be able to live free. Definitely. They didn't want our generations to be going through the same thing. Those people loved Black people, even Black people they had not seen yet. Right. So I feel like it's possible for our communities, for us to get back to a place of love, like real agape love, the whole kumbaya, we shall overcome, whatever you want to call it. It is possible. We just have to look at others as ourselves. Think about all the things you've been through and all the things that you need, whether you say it or not. Somebody standing next to you in the grocery store can be feeling the exact same way. Yes. Life could be beating them down the exact same way it's beating you down in the moment. So be kind, be thoughtful, share, not a smile because y'all should be wearing masks. But you can smile with your eyes. You see people, you can tell they smiling with their eyes. I don't know if you should do that to people. It might seem a little creepy. But you know what I mean? Like it doesn't hurt to be kind, to show love to one another. I mean, we're all on this planet together, regardless if we want to be or not. This is where we are. Ain't nowhere to go back to because we all came from somewhere else. So at this point, we've got to make the best of what we have. And your biggest resource is people. I don't care what you tell yourself. Money, all that stuff, opportunities, businesses, it all comes from people. Our biggest resources is each other. Definitely. But if we can't look at somebody and see them in their rarest form or in their worst moment, then we'll never get it. We'll never get it.
Yeah. That is the truth. We never. It's fine. You're okay. Oh yeah, definitely having that understanding, having that love, having that real relationship with others, and being honest, about the relationship you have, and if just being transparent, like don't be real, don't be fake about your relationship, you know, try to be as honest as you possibly
Right.
can with each other about the relationships that you have, even in like I said, even in the agape, you know, you sharing your heart, you sharing your thought, you know, just always just kind of be honest with them. You know, I think that's where we get lost. I think we've gotten to this fake wearing masks kind of culture. Well, we wear masks, but you know, wearing a facade and things like that, you know, that we have kind of lost our way, you know, as far as being genuine towards each other. And those the hurting, they're wearing a facade as well, and no one's really connecting. And some folks just need a word, just need a moment. I just need an encouraging word. I'm having a rough morning, you know. And if we can begin to
the eyes
become more honest and more connected to each other, you know, in the most possible, in the most transparent way, I think a lot of things will change. Period. You know, I think our communities will become closer, and you know, the struggle wouldn't be so hard. Honestly. All right. Okay,
Right.
that's it.
Like I said, we are our biggest resource.
Definitely.
We are. Your brothers, your neighbors, people you encounter. People are your biggest resource.
Right.
The world does not work without people
Right.
of all colors, of all shapes and sizes. The world does not work without us.
Right.
So let us show some love. It's the holiday season.
Always.
Let's be loving. Let's be kind. It's got to start somewhere.
Yes.
Like, you know, you be the person to start it for the day. Do something tomorrow you've never done before.
Right.
Like I said, don't be smiling at people. Keep your mask on.
Right.
But do something kind. Something, you know, I don't know. You can think of something you've never done. Be kind to somebody tomorrow.
Yes.
You never know, that one little thing that you change. Say good morning to somebody that maybe you don't say good morning to people.
Right.
You might be like me. You know, I'm from New York. We don't do a whole lot of talking when you passing strangers. I'm learning to be better. I'm trying to get that what is it, Southern charm?
Southern hospitality.
Oh, yeah, Southern hospitality. I'm still working on it.
Right.
But, you know, say good morning to somebody.
Right.
When you pass by 5 people, good morning. Good morning. You in the South. They love that down here.
So
But thank you guys for joining us.
Yes.
We love you guys. We appreciate your time. We are here typically every Monday. Next week is the holiday week. We are holidaying. Spending time with family and showing some love. So we won't,
No,
I don't think, be on Monday night. Might pop in, show y'all a little something. But so enjoy your Thanksgiving. You know, listen, if all y'all been COVID tested or whatever, give somebody a hug. We ain't been with each other in like 2 years. Like that cousin that you don't like, you should be happy. It's like meeting her again for the first time. Listen, it's been 2 long years.
Right.
Hug somebody on Thanksgiving.
Yes. Hug 'em.
That auntie that get on your nerves, hug her. Listen, we've been trying.
Nice
Auntie, you know what? I know you about to say something crazy. I'm going to hug you. You're going to get all this love right now. Let's do something different this year. But from us to you guys, we love you. We hope you have a great Thanksgiving. And
love unconditionally. No. Love intentionally.
Love unconditionally.
And love on purpose.
Me and you together, our purpose for forever. Won't let nothing